Alright guys, so we are reintroducing the Legacy because it is completely different from the last time that you guys saw it in the How to Turbocharge Your Legacy video, in the sense of drivetrain. The rear wheel drive setup now with the angle kit, the car is now built for drifting. We do have about 3 videos coming up that's going to be an in-depth how I did it for everything. So as I go through the video, I'll tell you about the angle kit and things like that, but just keep in mind, we also have other videos coming up after this about exactly how I did it. We just got to edit them and put them together. But first we'll go through the engine. If you guys have seen that last video, you've already looked into the setup, but just for those who haven't seen it, it is a EZ30, which is a 6-cylinder boxer engine. They unfortunately didn't come turbo, so we added the turbo to it. The turbo is a Garrett G30 660. I have Outfront Motorsports fuel rails with the ID1050X injectors. They have a kit that you can buy with them, and you just order them, and they have sleeves in the heads, and it's really nice. And the intercooler is from a VAB. It's like a 2016 Blitz radiator, and then I just bought some 2.5-inch aluminum piping, and then I just made it fit. It was already really close. That's why I chose the VAB front mount intercooler, because it has a lot of the same opening areas, the way that it comes into the engine bay. So mostly all of this stuff really was what was custom made. This has a little bit of an odd angle. I didn't plan on doing it, but the power steering hoses make it so I have to do it on this edge here. But once we delete the ABS, hopefully I'll be able to get a better angle there. And then for the oil to the turbo, this thing right here, it's actually a oil pressure regulator. They do have inside the Garrett's like a little, it's a restrictor, but just on my research, I heard that it's actually good to be able to just regulate that to around 40 PSI, and it's just kind of one of those better safe than sorry type things. They're pretty cheap, so I added one of those. And then it has a AEM water methanol kit, just like Dylan's. We both run the same kit. No E85 out here, so we try to compensate. At least we have good gas out here in Japan. But that's pretty much for the engine. Oh, we do have Raptor Motorsports headers, and we basically cut the flanges off, put V-bands on there, and then made the full headers for that turbo. It was pretty straightforward. If you want to know more details of exactly like where the oil lines and coolant lines are coming from, check out the How to Turbocharge Your Legacy video. The car is ran off of a Haltech Elite 2500. So it's an aftermarket ECU standalone setup. But yeah, that's pretty much the engine. But today's video is actually not going to be focusing on this. It's actually going to be focusing on this. So a big change that we've made is the angle kit on this car. So not only is it rear wheel drive, but we also added the FDF angle kit. They don't have one for a Legacy, but the 08 to 14 WRX angle kit that they have practically bolts right in. My steering rack is from a GRB STI, and everything is kind of widened. So that made a little bit of complications because it's a thinner chassis with a wider steering rack with the angle kit from FDF. So in the future, we're going to go into the details of what exactly we had to do. Like the sway bars, for example. The sway bars in their install video was installed upside down. So you have to mess around with the sway bars and fab them up to if you want to run them at least. Some people in the drift world, they don't run sway bars. I tried it. I just couldn't get used to it. It was a horrible feeling for me. It just didn't feel right. So I just fabbed it up to make it work. But yeah, it's got the FDF angle kit in there. Öhlins DFV suspension, Brembo brakes. I had to do a little bit of some interesting setups for the RPF1. Some of you guys may be like, he got rid of the TE37s. I know, I love those wheels. They're really nice. But going rear wheel drive, I ended up having to do basically a 5x100 up front, but a 5x114 in the rear. Why did I have to do 5x114? Well, if you know Legacies, you know that the rear end, whether you have a 6-speed or a 5-speed, it doesn't matter. They only come with the R160. So the whole idea of making it rear wheel drive, honestly, the initial intentions were not to make it rear wheel drive. It was to strengthen the rear end. The rear end only had a R160, and then turbocharging it, EZ30. In the future, I want to build the engine. I just knew that rear end was going to be a weak point. So looking into how to strengthen it, you just keep seeing all these different options that the rear wheel drive guys are beefing up their rear ends, because those are the only guys that really need to. Everyone else, you can just do an R180 and it's typically okay. So what I ended up doing for the rear end, this is actually pretty unique. It has a 350Z Z33 rear end, just the diff. I customized it to fit inside the subframe. And then the hubs are S15 hubs. The drive shafts are also Z33 Fairlady or Z33 Fairlady or 350Z, whatever you call it in your country, but they are the 350Z drive shafts which bolt perfectly inside the S15 hubs. The S15 hubs, surprisingly, all you have to do is oval out the hubs or the knuckles inside of the Legacy, and you can get it to bolt on really nicely. We actually went with a Tomei two-way LSD on this setup. And then the drive shaft, I ended up going with just the back end. So the Legacy drive shaft is a one piece and it's pretty thin. So what I ended up doing was actually on Robin's build, the 2.1 liter GRB STI, when we were doing the engine build, I got underneath his car and I measured. That's about how long ago we started doing this rear wheel drive setup. And I found out that the mid drive shaft mounting points, the 214s that mount to the chassis, to the transmission is the same for the GRB. So what I ended up doing was I used that piece because it's beefier, and then there's a back piece that's bolt on, and what I did was I had a custom drive shaft made for just that back end side. So it's an aluminum 3-inch drive shaft from the middle portion to the back side. And this thing is fun. It is an absolute blast. So originally, you'll see in the next few videos coming up, I say, oh, this is possibly temporary. We have a 6-speed laid off to the side. Like, yeah, this is probably going to stay this way. This is actually extremely fun. And we have a couple other builds to kind of keep the all-wheel drive in the family, if you will. And then for the exhaust, not much has changed, but this has changed, and I'm going to add this change in this video simply because in Japan, there's a drift track in Yambaru, and they require for your exhaust to have an angle, kind of have like one of these little dolphin tail type things here. So what I ended up doing was adding a few pie cuts and angling the exhaust down. That's why that's that way. A lot of the guys will get some, I don't know, some like like stainless steel things and strap it on there. But when I was going out there and we were out there drifting, I think 90% of the guys, those things just fell off, right? So made a permanent solution for this year. All right, for the interior, there's also some changes also. The biggest change is the seats. Drifting, there's a lot more left and right sway of the whole entire car. So instead of the more comfortable Recaro seats that I had in here, I went with Bride. This is a semi-bucket, and then we have the full bucket set up there. And holds you in real good, hugs you in nice. I did also flock the dash, and we have a video for that also on how I did it. Unfortunately, it looks like, I just noticed today when I was washing the car, there are some cracks starting again, so got to figure out another solution, but it'll be nice while it lasts. Then again, I still have the Gnome Defi DIN setup that we have there. That's the same as it was before. Something else that's going to be changing, if you notice this huge hole that I have right here, and I've mocked it up, but I actually have a Chase Bays Hydro side brake that I'll be installing. Probably get that out and record that video. And then I also have a Haltech IC7 on its way also. Unfortunately, with the FDF angle kit, they don't have any locations for speed sensors. I can get them to kind of work, but long story short, we're just gonna do an IC7 and then run in a speed sensor to it and run it that way. I actually like the OEM dash, but it's okay. We're gonna get that IC7 looking real nice. All right, so for the cosmetics, there's a few differences also. The back side, I went with a 9.5J plus 45, and there wasn't really that much on the stock setup. I could just leave it as is, but I did put the out back rear over fenders on, but mainly it was because of the front. The front side with the FDF angle kit, it stuck out past the fenders, and I hate that look. So I went with the outback front fenders also. I just cut the stock fenders and then I added these to them, and it's somewhat covers up, but you know, with the camber and everything like that, and it works out. So I actually like the look. It actually changes the car a lot. I didn't have this piece here, but it's okay. It works out. And then the front side, you guys may notice that I have a different bumper. I still have the other bumper, and I honestly prefer the other bumper. But at Yambaru, that drift track, the outside of the asphalt is pretty low. So if you let one of your tires fall down, your bumper will, yeah, you're gonna ruin your bumper. So we got a couple clips of it with my car out there, and I'm drifting with no bumper, and I don't like that look. So I just went with a bumper that, actually a customer, Sebastian, he actually bought me the bumper. I said, does anyone know where one of these are? And he brought it to the yard, and it was like, here you go. So shout out to Sebastian for hooking that up. And then I just purchased the, it was one of those cheaper lips, eBay lips, for like 150 bucks. But looks good, and now I don't care about it. I can hit it if I want to, and it's okay. And then, man, I can't remember when I did this along the history of videos that we have on the Legacy, but because I'm just have a screen right there on the turbo, I was seeing a little bit higher intake air temps that I wanted to, so this is actually functional. After I did this, the temps came down a lot. It gets pretty hot in the engine bay, so that just kind of allows the air to kind of go in there and suck in cold air. And then I have a little cap for it when I'm not using it or it rains, because it rains a lot in Okinawa. All right, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys thought that it was a little bit not so in-depth, don't worry. We got 3 videos of how exactly I did it, how I bolted it in, removing everything, putting it on, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, guys.